You've been trained to chase status like a dog chases a car, loud, frantic, breathless, and always one step behind. You post, you perform, you explain, you apologize, you accept the crumbs of recognition as if they were proof of worth. And still it runs, always a little faster than you, always just out of reach. Tonight you flip the game. You stop running. You make status do the chasing. Not by shouting louder or flashing brighter, but by becoming something the world is wired to pursue and terrified to lose. This is not about pretending to be above it all. It's about building a gravity so heavy that attention bends toward you without begging. A presence so disciplined that rooms reshape themselves around your pace. A reputation so consistent that your silence weighs more than other people's speeches. You will learn how status actually functions, why the loud rarely hold it, and how to design a life that forces it to court you. No begging, no chasing, only pull. Start with a brutal truth. Status is not a thing you own. It is a story other people tell themselves about you. It lives in their minds, and it changes faster than your image can keep up. That's why chasing it is slavery. You feed an appetite that never ends. But if status is a story, then the most powerful person is not the one who screams the loudest. It's the one who controls the conditions under which stories are written. The quietest man in the room often controls the loudest, not because he's hiding a secret weapon, but because he has mastered three forces that shape human narrative: opacity, scarcity, and proof. Opacity creates mystery, scarcity creates desire, proof creates surrender. When you are hard to read, hard to reach, and easy to verify, the world writes favorable stories about you without being asked. When you are easy to read, easy to reach, and impossible to verify, the world writes you off. Your first move is to stop broadcasting your hunger. Neediness dissolves status on contact. Every time you rush to clarify, to justify, to be understood, you teach people that their perception owns you. You become an open book written in a language anyone can edit. The high-status person is not hostile. He is governed. He speaks after he has finished thinking, not while he is still assembling the pieces. He chooses when to be seen and when to be still. He treats silence like a blade, rarely drawn, never waved around for show, but impossible to ignore when it appears. When you stop reacting to every tag and every tug, something unnerving happens in the people around you. Their projection systems start firing. They try to guess what you mean, what you will do, what you will accept. In that guessing, they reveal themselves. In that guessing, your stillness acquires mass. The world is built on reaction. Markets react, news reacts, crowds react. Be the anomaly that doesn't. Your refusal to flinch is the first signal that status has more to gain chasing you than you do chasing it. The second move is to become deliberately unpredictable in the only way that matters. You do not move to the rhythm other people set. Predictability is vulnerability because it can be timed, baited, and farmed. The person who knows you will always reply in 10 minutes, will escalate their demands at 9. The person who knows you always accept meetings whenever works, will whenever you into oblivion. The man who knows you cannot stand to be disliked will withhold approval until you perform. Break those clocks. Decide in public on a weekly rhythm and keep it. Decide in private on a longer clock and protect it. You reply inside windows, not impulses. You make decisions after the review you named, not the demand they screamed. You show warmth generously, but not on command. You are not difficult. You are an institution with hours of operation. The most terrifying kind of unpredictable is not chaos. It's principled rhythm. People cannot exploit what they cannot accelerate. Now understand projection. In the absence of immediate explanation, people will invent one. If you are calm while others boil, they will accuse you of arrogance. If you say no without apology, they will call you cruel. If you remain unreadable while they throw their whole biography at you, they will decide you are manipulative. None of this is about you. It's about the panic that erupts when someone realizes their old tools don't work on a new person. That panic is a gift. It means your energy is no longer on the market. It means the game is moving onto your board. Let them project. Let them speak. The more they fill the space with accusations you did not earn, the more obvious their dependency becomes to everyone watching. Status flows to the person who does not need the room to be comfortable in order to stay composed. You are not sculpting your image. You are forcing reality to show its mirrors. If you want status to pursue you, you must price your attention like something rare. Scarcity is not arrogance, it is gravity. The more abundant a resource, the less the brain values it. The more available you are, the more people will treat your presence as an unpriced commodity. That is why celebrity burns out. Forced abundance dilutes mystique. Your job is not to disappear. It is to design access. 2 office-hour windows per week instead of a dozen scattered calls. 2 start dates per month instead of any time anyone snaps. Batches instead of pings. Public commitments instead of private improvisation. When the calendar becomes a gate, your yes becomes expensive in the best sense. Earned. People prepare better when your time is scarce. Meetings shrink when your focus is not an endless well. Opportunities improve because chaos stops getting through the door. Scarcity invites respect, and respect invites pursuit. There is a paradox to solve. How do you become scarce without becoming forgettable? Proof. Scarcity without proof reads like ego. Proof without scarcity reads like need. You braid them. You publish visible results on a cadence you can sustain. Not fireworks every day. Boring, compounding proof, shipped work, durable outcomes, the occasional sharp essay that actually says something, the weekly memo that always arrives on Thursday at 10. Your signal becomes predictable, even as your time does not. The world is addicted to novelty, but it trusts rhythm. When you reliably put weight on the scale, your absence between drops becomes meaningful instead of suspicious. People begin to save their asks for when it counts. They begin to chase you because you are the only person who seems to deliver on schedule without screaming about it. They chase you because you are the easiest person to explain to a boss. Status loves what can be defended in one sentence. What about kindness? Doesn't withholding make you cold? It can if you wield it like a weapon, but there is a version of kindness that attracts status effortlessly, selective generosity. High-status people are not stingy, they are precise. They do not spray approval, they direct it like sunlight onto the specific behavior they want the world to see more of. When you praise, do it in public and with receipts. This landed because you did A, B, C. When you correct, do it in private and with boundaries. When you give fully, then step back. Half gifts are chronic signals of neediness. Strings attached, gratitude demanded, noise added after the help has been delivered. True generosity makes a person bigger than you for a moment and requires nothing in return. People remember that. They bring you rooms you didn't ask for. They defend you when you are not present. They chase you because you make them feel capable when they stand near you. You must also stop paying the guilt tax that keeps you small. Guilt is how the world trains you to be available on demand. "I'm sorry, but" is the preface of the statusless. Clean statements are the language of those who do not negotiate with their own boundaries. "No, thanks. That doesn't work on my side. I'm not available for that scope." Apologies are for harm, not for limits. The moment you apologize for a boundary, you teach people that your standard is open for haggling. They don't hear your values, they hear your price. You are not a plaza market. You are a museum with rules that preserve the art. When you stop using apology to prepare for disapproval, you force other people to hold their own discomfort. Some will call you selfish. Fine. Self-respect looks selfish to those accustomed to discounts. Flattery is the softest leash. When you're starved for praise, you'll trade your schedule, your standards, and your future for a handful of sweet words. High-status people are immune not because they hate compliments, but because they metabolize them properly. Pleasant, but not binding. Thank you, and that's it. You don't accelerate for praise, you accelerate for alignment. The person who cannot be bought by admiration attracts more of it. Because once people realize their approval doesn't steer you, their respect does. Admiration without leverage turns into advocacy. Admiration with leverage turns into manipulation. Teach the world which one you accept. Status also lives in your relationship to conflict. People obey what they don't want to confront. If you cannot sit with the discomfort of someone else's disappointment, you will live as their employee, whether or not a payroll system says so. Practice the sentence that closes countless power loops. I understand that you're disappointed. My decision stands. No paragraph, no justifying, no performance review of their feelings. Hold the silence. Let them decide how to recalibrate. When you stay from choice, not compulsion. When you go without fireworks. Your absence is not a tantrum. It is a boundary continuing in a different room. Here is the mechanics of the pull you are building. First, you refine your inputs, what you read, what you track, who you let near your nervous system. Attention is a farm. If you let anyone plant in it, you shouldn't be surprised by the weeds. Second, you increase the sharpness of your outputs, less volume, more density. People chase density because it saves them time. One sentence that solves a problem creates more status than 1 hour that performs expertise. Third, you constrain your access, public content, private windows, and almost no improvisational availability. Fourth, you maintain a visible code. We do this. We do not do that. Codes attract the like-minded and repel the needy. Fifth, you maintain price integrity, charge clearly, deliver fully, and never discount in ways that make future you pay for today's insecurity. Integrity is a magnet. People chase it because it's rare. Let's speak directly to social settings, the friend groups, work corridors, family tables where status is supposedly about wit and volume. Resist the temptation to compete for the laugh or the last word. Instead, compete for composure. Composure wins rooms for a simple reason. It makes other people feel their own chaos. When you smile and listen, you aren't performing submission. You are absorbing data. You are deciding whether the moment deserves your words. The most powerful sentence in most rooms is a clean question, followed by steady silence. It forces clarity. It reveals motives. It creates a pocket where truth has somewhere to land. Use that pocket wisely. Don't cross-examine for sport. Excavate for understanding. Your reward will be disproportionate to your syllables. Status also tracks the direction of favors. The person who always asks becomes background noise. The person who always gives becomes furniture. Neither is chaste. The person who occasionally declines with clarity and occasionally delivers more than promised becomes legend. Over-deliver sparingly, but spectacularly. Decline simply but cleanly. Never accept a promise you don't intend to keep. Most people think status is built by saying yes to large crowds. It's built by saying yes to the right requests and allowing the wrong ones to die without audience. A no spoken once, early, and without trembling saves you 15 maybes and 3 months of resentment. There is a discipline unique to the high status, the ability to hold incomplete stories without trying to finish them. You will be misunderstood on purpose by those who miss your compliance. You will be envied quietly by those who miss your availability. You will be resented loudly by those who miss your predictability. Hold the line anyway. Topple your addiction to being perceived as nice. Nice is often the brand name for fear. Be kind, be fair, be exact. Nice bends until it breaks and then blames the weight. Exact holds or declines to carry. The world will call exact cold because exact does not leak. Learn to like being called cold by people who prefer you warm and pliable. Frost preserves the harvest. Never chase status, make it chase you. How do you do it fast? You don't sprint, you remove friction. Chasing is slow because it never ends. Pull is fast because gravity compounds. Day 1, you define your code in 1 page. Day 2, you clean your calendar into windows and gates. Day 3, you decide the rhythm of your signal, and you publish the next date you will ship something real. Day 4, you make a list of 10 behaviors you will no longer perform. Preemptive apologies, open-ended availability, explanations past a single sentence, instant replies, price haggling in DMs, favors to avoid discomfort, just circling back emails that beg status to look at you. Day 5, you write 3 sentences you will use instead of chasing. Here's how this works. Here's what I recommend. Here's the next step. Deliver them calmly. Sleep well. Repeat. You will feel a rush of guilt. You will feel the itch to fill silence. You will feel the sting of being called distant. Let the feelings pass. You are not killing your empathy. You are killing your leash. There is a deeper layer, the kind of meaning you choose to extract from your own progress. If you measure yourself by applause, you will contort until your spine gives. If you measure yourself by internal alignment, did I keep my code today? Status will begin to feel like weather. Useful to note, irrelevant to being. Counterintuitively, this indifference magnetizes more of it. People chase what doesn't beg. They copy what doesn't contort. They respect what does not move when shoved. The moment you build a day that pleases the person you're stuck with in the mirror, the room's temperature stops determining yours, and then you can be generous without needing to be seen, decisive without needing to be right, present without needing to be applauded. The paradox resolves. The less you need status, the faster it runs to keep up. Consider the arenas that train you to chase. Algorithms, gossip loops, corporate promotion ladders designed like slot machines. They all run on the same currency, your impatience. Every time you refresh, you pay. Every time you argue, you pay. Every time you search your own name, you pay. Replace impatience with cadence. Post, then leave. Ship, then walk. Decide, then rest. The person who refuses to watch the pot earns meals the person who stares never tastes. There is a reason disciplined creators become reference points. Their work arrives on time whether or not the crowd cheers. The cheers adapt. They always do. If you fear being forgotten, remember this. Absence is a message. Used rarely, it is louder than presence. Don't ghost to punish. Step back to preserve. When your default becomes doing and your exception becomes explaining, the people worth keeping will learn your language. They will stop demanding performances and start requesting outcomes. The rest will wander off in search of easier prey. Let them. You cannot be chased by the entire world. You only need the right few to decide that proximity to you makes them braver and more exacting versions of themselves. That's what real status does. It upgrades the people who orbit it. It does not degrade them for sport. You will be tested. Someone will praise you lavishly to purchase your attention on credit. Someone will accuse you publicly to bait you into a defense that shrinks your posture. Someone will offer you a platform that requires you to soften your code just a little for reach. Decline the credit purchase. Ignore the bait. Thank the platform and keep the code. The test is not whether you can be liked by many. It's whether you can be like yourself when many are looking. Status chases those who don't flinch under observation. Now listen to the mechanics one last time in plain language. Speak less, mean more. Decide slowly, act cleanly. Publish rhythm, not noise. Make access clear and limited. Praise publicly with receipts. Correct privately with respect. Apologize for harm, not for boundaries. Take compliments as air, not as a leash. Sit in other people's disappointment without rushing to rescue them. Say no without music. Over-deliver rarely and unmistakably. Walk away without smoke. Hold the code when no one is watching and hold it tighter when everyone is. Do this for 30 days and you will feel the axis of your life tilt. Doors you used to knock on will knock back. People who used to manage you will request your map. Rooms that used to exhaust you will finish early. The quiet will feel expensive again. And status, the story other people tell about you, will rewrite itself without you lifting the pen. This is the part where I could beg you to subscribe, to like, to comment, to bless an algorithm that pretends to be a judge. I won't beg. If this cut through the fog, if you felt your spine straighten even 1 degree, prove it to yourself with a small public act. Type a single line where you are, I stop chasing. That line is not for me. It's a promise to your nervous system, a message your future self will remember when your thumb hovers over an apology you don't owe and your calendar tries to sell your peace for a meeting you don't need. Then leave. Don't wait for applause. Don't watch the pot. Go build the gravity that makes the pot boil on time. Remember what the loudest men forget. Dominance shouted is dependence confessed. Power that needs to be seen to believe itself is theater. The kind that moves history walks in late, speaks once, and doesn't look back to check if the room clapped. Become that kind. Make status sprint to keep up with your pace, not the other way around. And when it catches you, because it will, don't turn around to greet it. Keep walking. You have work that will outlast applause.